Alrighty, so I'm a little excited here. Let's go ahead and run the app and see what it looks like. Let's see how our integration process worked with the template and the Angular application. So the one thing we need to do is get our backend up and running. So start up IntelliJ and run the Spring Boot backend application. Alrighty, so our Spring Boot backend is up and running. And now we can move over to Visual Studio Code and we can run the Angular front-end application. All right, so that's up and running. Go to our web browser and go to localhost 4200 to access the Angular app. And okay, looks okay. It's just a rough cut right now. That main section is just our HTML table that we created earlier being put into the template, and we'll work on making it a grid a little bit later, but at least we have the data being displayed, which is kind of cool. And over on the left-hand side, we have the categories. Along the top, we have the search bar and so on, and we'll add this functionality over time. But this is good. At least we know we have the styles in place and all the basics in place right now. All right, let's swing back over to Visual Studio Code. And you may sit there and wonder, like, gosh, all of these CSS styles, what are they? What are they doing? And so on. So if you need to find out about a given CSS style, simply copy the style name and then search for it in styles.css. If it's not in the styles.css, then you simply copy the style name and search for it on Google, like Bootstrap or whatever. If the style starts with FA, then most likely it's something from Font Awesome. So let's kind of look at a quick little demo with this because there's a lot of styles here. So like page wrapper, let's go ahead and grab that style and let's get some more information about it. So we simply grab the style, we copy it, and then we move over to our styles.css, and then we simply search for that style. And so here we see it's one of the styles in our own file. So overflow, background, padding, and so on. So that's a local CSS style that we're using. So what about menu sidebar? So let's do a similar thing with that one. So drop in menu sidebar. And again, we can see the reference on how that given CSS style is defined. Okay, good. So these are all local styles in our given application. So what about other styles, like maybe a Bootstrap style? So let me go ahead and grab this container fluid and copy this style and see if I can find it in styles.css. And notice here in the top right, it says no results, saying, hey, I couldn't find it. It's not in your local CSS file. All right, so that means we need to go to the web and then search for it. So I'll check to see if it's a Bootstrap style. So I'll just do a search on Bootstrap and that given style name. And bingo, good. So this is definitely a Bootstrap style. So we found some tutorials about it, and we even find the official Bootstrap documentation about that given style. And if we follow the link here, search for it over here on their site, that's a cool feature. And it basically gives you information about that given style. So it's for setting up containers and flow and so forth, and basically for setting up a grid system. And that's what we'll use in our product layout. All right, so that was just a little example there on researching or investigating the different styles that are used in this given application. So now we'll take a look at this app product list. So this is code that we created a little bit earlier. So this is one of our components, our product list components. Let's go ahead and look at the product list component.ts file. So that's the given selector that kind of connects everything. And we're going to make use of a different template here. So we're not going to use the product list template component. We'll make use of a new one, but we'll use it as a starting point. All right, so let's go ahead and copy this component file, product list table.component. And then we'll paste it. And now we'll simply rename it and give it a new name. So I will call it product list grid.component, and I'll remove the copy stuff. All right, good. So that's my own file that I can use now. Make sure that file is open, the list grid. I close the list table. Make sure I'm editing the correct file. And I also need to update the TypeScript file to make sure that it's using the right template. All right, so I just do a little copy paste over there, comment out this guy, and then the template URL is product list grid.component.html. Okay, great. And so let's go ahead and open up our product list grid.component.html, expand the window, and this is where we'll do all of our work.